I chose to go into social services because I was 14 years old and pregnant. I had people telling me like I wasn't going to be anything, I wasn't going to amount to anything. You know, you're not going to graduate high school, your kids aren't going to graduate high school. And I became determined to prove people wrong. Knowing if I had someone, I could have been further ahead in life than what I want to be, right? So I try to become that voice for others.
So I grew up here. I am a child of Northwest Indiana, a proud, we call ourselves the region. And Northwest Indiana has a really interesting history. Being so close to Chicago, we're often a little bit different than the rest of the state of Indiana. The community, it's hardworking and it is prideful. That makes Northwest Indiana a great place to live, but we have also suffered the perils of industrialization and the steel mills closing down, and what the lack of good middle-class jobs has done to some of the communities in our area. And we know that things like poverty and being out of work and lack of education and lack of social supports can lead to the stressors that make it more likely that parents may abuse or neglect their children. I used to think that, there were some mean, evil parents, right? That child abuse was about evil and who could ever hurt their child. And that's not what it is. There are always going to be those cases, but most of it is parents trying to do the best that they can and losing it for a minute or not having the tools to keep their kids safe. And it's our responsibility as community members to make sure that every family in our neighborhood has access to those things.
90% of brain growth happens in the first 3 years of life. Prenatal through the age 3, that critical brain growth is happening. When you understand that data point, then it lends to the whole reason why we're doing this work.
So Hammond has been aligned with home visiting, a pioneer, really. Some of the very first home visiting programs in our community started in Hammond over 25 years ago. You see two kinds of people who go into this work, right? Some people come in because they've been through it and they come out on the other side and they want to make sure that it doesn't happen to somebody else, right? And I see a lot of people in the work that I do that are coming from that perspective. And I'm almost coming from an opposite perspective in that I had that nurturing start, and I feel like it's my job to give back and find a way to help all families give their kids that same kind of start.
Prevention to me, as a parent and as a leader, and frankly somebody that enters this role focused on compassion and servant leadership, is that we engage with families prior to a crisis. So a prevention first model is one where we are not sitting back and waiting. We are not intervening at the point of crisis. We are engaging proactively before it gets to that point.
Prevention work is critical because if we give the people the tools and the knowledge and the understanding and the resources, it won't lead to child abuse. A lot of people don't understand. People lack the coping mechanisms of how to deal with a crying child because they're trying to survive. And then people automatically assume that abuse, when you hear child abuse prevention, is the physical aspect. No, it's the social emotional aspect as well. The different programs that I partake in or that I run or that I do will help families thrive and strive and succeed.
As a leader of the organization, it's my job to support the team. And so my job with a macro focus is to be able to secure funding, to make sure that we have the funding we need to do the work we're doing. Knowing that when families do get home visiting, we see a massive return on investment. When we have our kids that are going into kindergarten and we're able to look at their school readiness scores, we can compare that with kids that have not had home visiting with their families, and there's absolutely a difference.
As a parent myself, it is a stressful situation to raise small children. Every parent will nod and agree with that. That said, I do believe that every parent has it in them to be loving and compassionate with their own children.
And then that impacts, it's a domino effect, right? Then they are better parents to their children. And then their children are better parents to their children. And it's continual effort to make sure that we don't continue to have the same cycle over and over and over again, especially for impoverished populations.
I've got almost 50 home visitors working out in Lake County in Northwest Indiana. That grew from when I first started, there were 9 of us. So Indiana has made an investment. We know a lot about what works for families, and we have a lot of people working on this, and so I'm hopeful that we continue to move the needle.
I think that Hammond can really tell a story about what's possible when we invest early with parents, with the community, and we invest before crisis happens. I think that how over time we've been able to change stories every day for the past 25 years, and hope that we can be an inspiration for other communities and an inspiration for future leaders in our community to pass the torch and to keep this important work going, because a child's brain does not wait. I really think that the City of Hammond and the work that we've been doing here with Healthy Families and Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana can tell a great story of how prevention can pay off.